Ngacishe ngatibambelela kucala kunathe ama-ARVs. Ngesaba imvuka lesoloko kukhulunywa ngayo. Sekuphela umnyaka ngawaqala. Solo siphethene kahle. Ngikhumbula kahle ukuthi angimelanga ukuthi ngize ngigule. Noku nomhla solo ngingumcemane. Ngiyatichenya ngalesinqumo. Ngitawuqhubeka ngwanathe ngikwethembeka. Solo ngime kuso sinqumo sami. Ngigrand, ngisukumele impilo yami.
Kuva kabandi shayela 1212.
Gaming is magic. Sure, the avatars you play with might just be characters on a screen, but the excitement, that's real. If you can feel it, it must be real. And that's real magic.
Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by our number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondumiso Vilagata alongside Izaman Zamanze, and here are your top stories. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Tulsile Dladla, has welcomed back home 9 Eswatini students who were studying in Ukraine. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport says rubberized tubes placed across public roads in some areas are tools used in their road investment maintenance and maintenance survey program. The writing of Form 5 examinations started smoothly on Monday. The news. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Tulsile Dladla, has welcomed back home 9 Eswatini students who were studying in Ukraine. The students arrived back home through the King Mswati III International Airport following the raging Russia-Ukraine war.
With the Russia-Ukraine war far from over, the Kingdom of Eswatini, through the help of its development partners, continues to repatriate Eswatini students who were studying in Ukraine. On Monday, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Tulsile Dladla, welcomed 9 students who arrived through the King Mswati III International Airport.
About 9, bese ke kuba ngenteka kufike 11 students sethu lesinemphana umasibala nalomphana ngenteka kufike 11 bese ke kulandela labanye sesijabule kakhulu lokuthi sowuphumile beside vele ngikwathi kwethu umphana losele eUkraine basese lapha kuHungary majority of them lokufanele ukuthi bathole indiza labanye futhi nabo batasi bayalandzela ukhona labanye labacele ukukwenta nje khona eEurope khona nyalo batabe balandzela.
The students are more than grateful to government for rescuing them from what they call a disastrous situation.
But sijabulile nje ukuthi sesemakhaya ngosiyami noma hey bese sethinkingeni lena yabo ukuthi bese ngagathi sekutawendeka lokho empilweni tethu nje but siyabonga ukuthi sifikile emakhaya.
Ngijabule kakhulu since like mesingaboni ukuthi sizophinde sibuye. Mesivame ukugijimela ngephasi khala emabhomu basitshela ukuthi siye underground.
A parent who had come for her daughter could not hold herself from tears of joy after reuniting with her daughter.
Kakhulu ngakuthi bengingasadli nekudla sinababa wakhe singakhona kulala sisinasibukela naleti indzaba singade ukuthi ngabe niyobuya alibhokisi noma utawubuya kanjani but sibonga uNkulunkulu kuphela ukuthi nakubafikile namhla ba safe. Ngathi asichubeke nisithandaze bataba safe bamphana batawufika uNkulunkulu uyadi.
About 62 Eswatini students were studying in Ukraine. However, 40 of them have been able to find their way back to the kingdom. Reporting, I am Tembeli Hlemakuchwa with Temba Shabangu, Skope.
The Minister of Education, Lady Howard, has received kindergarten playing material for Togotweni Preschool from Inyati Construction. The minister says it is important for preschools to have adequate playing material because they encourage children to love school.
The Minister of Education, Lady Howard, has officially received play material for Togotweni Preschool from Inyati Construction. The minister extended their gratitude towards Inyati Construction for giving support to the most critical stage of the child's learning.
It is early childhood education that the love for learning is inculcated in the lives of children. Inyati Construction has rescued the Ministry of Education at a time where the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has been hit hard by the pandemic as well as the unrest. This kind gesture will go a long way to help increase access and quality education and meet the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which speaks about ensuring lifelong learning. This is early stimulation, which increases duration of schooling.
Speaking on behalf of Inyati Construction, Chief Executive Officer John Greenway says, Inyati Construction is pleased to have to partake in an initiative like this. This exercise is fun and important for social growth, and it allows the organization to give back to communities.
Not only is exercise fun and important for social interaction, but it improves coordination, balance, posture, and flexibility.
Dlokotweni Pre-Primary School Principal Nkosinathi Dlamini extended the school's gratitude towards Inyati Construction.
Abancane bajajuliswa ngokudlala sonke isikhathi bafuna siwasithole isikhathi sekudlala kube khona batawudlala ngako ukusho ukuthi lo mjike nje usita kakhulu ngoba batakukhuthala nekuthi esikolweni.
Lubombo Regional Administrator Themba Msibi says the outdoor material is essential for preschool children.
Etimbandzeni tayo ngoba ngila khona lemfundo itawuthola umhlaba lo kahle lovunzile lo sengangenwa tilokatana letikhona lapha emhlabeni.
About 4 schools received the play material from Inyati Construction. These schools include Manyeveni Primary, Eswatini Primary, Mafuteni Roman Catholic Primary, and Dlokotweni Primary School. Reporting, I am Tembelihle Makuchwa with Temba Shabangu, Dlokotweni.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport says rubberized tubes placed across public roads in some areas are tools used in their road investment maintenance and maintenance service survey program. The ministry says the survey aims to assess the state of the local road network for possible upgrading purposes. Among other things, the survey is expected to end in April.
Fuel price hike is one of many things that concern motor vehicle owners, while bad roads are just a thorn in the flesh. Although government cannot do much to control the fluctuating price of oil, as it is regulated elsewhere, it can do something about the state of roads in the country. On top of rehabilitating local roads, the Ministry of Public Works and Transport is conducting a road investment maintenance and management survey. The survey is aimed at many things, which include assessing the current state of the local road network and further make recommendations for the appropriate maintenance interventions. Principal Secretary in the Ministry, Thulani Mkhaliphi, in a press statement says this survey entails implementing a comprehensive traffic study on the country's road network to assist in the implementing or planning and prioritization of resources for maintenance and upgrading of certain unpaved roads to paved road standard. Mkhaliphi says the survey is important in determining the type of pavement design to be used when designing roads that have reached an economic merit to be upgraded to paved standard. The PS says roads that could benefit from the study include Mhlaleni Hlatikulu, Pondo Punya, Sipofaneni Maloma, and Mojane Sipokosini. Proper road infrastructure is a key attractor of business. Mkhaliphi says the results of the study will be in line with this as they anticipate increased business activity next or along upgraded roads. The study is expected to end on 29 April. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Muzi Mkonda, Manzini.
The Ministry of Health Services has warned event organizers and the public against the laxity in following the COVID-19 regulations, stating that the pandemic is not yet over and recklessness could lead to fatalities. The Director of Health Services, Dr. Vusi Makakula, says the ministry has noted with great concern that in some events people completely disregard the regulations, adding that this is strongly discouraged.
Almost 2 years since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in the kingdom. According to the World Health Organization, some people are growing tired of following the regulations because the COVID-19 pandemic has been here for a long time. The Director of Health Services, Dr. Vusi Makakula, says they have noticed that some people are no longer fully following the regulations, warning that this is not yet the time for eMaswati to let their guard down.
I would like to sound a warning here to the nation. We are seeing more and more gatherings where people are really forgetting to wear their masks. And we discourage that in its entirety for several reasons. Largely because, number one, we are still hovering below 29% in the percentage of people who have been vaccinated. We are seeing this reluctance in vaccination. And so when you compare with other countries like in Europe, for example, where you find that they have now vaccination level up to 60%, which means the people are a little bit better protected than us. We are still down there, so let us continue wearing masks. The second thing is the regulations as announced by His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister in the past, we are still at adjusted level number 1. With those slight modifications which have been made to accommodate for some of these things. So let us stick to that. It has not been lifted. Let us be seen to be following the dictates of the law. We know that the community transmission is a bit low because it is hovering between 3 and 4%, but it has not gone down to 0. We want it to get to 0 for subsequent weeks, then we will be sure that it is now low.
A statement released by the Ministry of Health on Sunday states that over 300,000 people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 in the country. The ministry says this number is very low and it encourages eMaswati to vaccinate as there are enough vaccines. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
The ongoing mopping exercise in 2 chiefdoms under Ngwene constituency have seen 833 benefiting so far. This is according to the Ministry of Home Affairs Communications Officer Mlandvo Dlamini.
The ongoing mopping exercise in the Shiselweni region was launched by the Minister of Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, on the 23rd of February 2022 at Ngwene Chiefdom under Ngwene constituency. At Ngwene Chiefdom, total vital events registered were 436, while under Buseleni there were 397. The Minister of Home Affairs Communications Officer Mlandvo Dlamini elaborates how the mopping exercise is going.
At Ngwene, we did record 246 laid beds, and that we converted 39 manual certificates. We also had 7 Swazi Law and Custom certificates that were registered, with only 1 manual certificate automated. 3 death certificates were automated into the National Population Register, and 149 identity cards were enrolled and issued to their rightful owners. At Buseleni, we recorded 397 vital events into the National Population Register. At the Chiefdom, we recorded 186 laid beds and 4 Swazi Law and Custom marriages. We also registered 18 birth certificates that were converted from the old manual to the digital system. We also recorded 66 national identity cards that were enrolled. At Buseleni.
The mopping exercise will continue to other constituencies in the Shiselweni region, which are Metula and Ngutsene. Dlamini encourages the Maswati from these constituencies to take advantage of the ongoing exercise. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Viminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
The National Commissioner of Police William Tsitsibala Dlamini condemns the upsurge of arson attacks and malicious injury of properties. These according to a press statement released to media houses.
National Commissioner of Police William Dlamini says the Royal Eswatini Police Service continues to note with deep concern and dismay the ongoing acts of terrorism being perpetrated around the country, manifesting in arson attacks on both private and public properties. The latest being the arson attack on heavy-duty plants and on motor vehicles owned by the police officers at the Mbabane police camp. Dlamini says these acts are without a doubt undesirable and disturbing and a great setback to the nation's effort to rebuild properties damaged during the unrest that beset the country in June 2021. He says as a law enforcement agency, condemns these barbaric acts of violence and sabotage in the strongest terms possible. Dlamini adds that the act of terrorism and sabotage have referred to above, including the arson attacks on private properties of individuals. Police officials are not in the country's best interest as they undermine peace, stability, as well as its socio-economic development. He also sympathizes with the police officers and business entities that have fallen victims of these cruel attacks, and further assure the nation that the long arm of the law will take its course and bring the perpetrators to justice. Further, he appeals to all law-abiding citizens with the best interests of the country at heart to continue supporting and assisting the police with information that will lead to the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators. He refutes claims that the National Commissioner of Police rejected 22 resignation letters from police officers who wanted to exit the police service while approving only one. He says this article is not only unfounded but also devoid of truth, adding that it seems it was calculated to misinform and mislead readership into believing that there is a mass exodus of police officers in the service. Dlamini says the truth of the matter is that there are only 3 resignations that were submitted to the office of the National Commissioner and were approved. The senior officer referred to in the article applied for a deferred retirement and not resignation. He adds that the article states that Namibia High Court Judge Justice Thomas Masuku is allegedly on the list of people monitored by Royal Eswatini Police Service Intelligence Service and on suspicions of funding the embezzled parliamentarians, especially Mduduzi Melane. He says this article is very much unfortunate and misleading to say the least, as there is no such list with reps. Hence, he disassociated police from it. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The writing of Form 5 examinations started smoothly on Monday. This is according to the Examinations Council of Eswatini Communications Officer Hlengiwe Ndlovu.
In the past few months, classes in most schools in the country were disturbed. The Examinations Council of Eswatini has expressed its happiness that the writing of Form 5's examinations started smoothly on Monday morning. In the morning, the Form 5 sat for their physical science paper, while in the afternoon they wrote economics final paper. Examination Council of Eswatini Communications Officer Hlengiwe Ndlovu says the writing of final examinations by grade 7 and Form 3, which is nearing its end, is going well.
The Form 5 exams begin today, and we'd love to say that it has been all systems go. All preparations were already in place for the Form 5 exams to begin today as smoothly as possible. We'd also love to state that as the Form 5s start writing their external exams today, Form 3s and grade 7s had already started writing their exams. We expect Form 3s to finish writing their exams today, while grade 7s will finish before the end of this week.
Also, as the Exams Council, we'd love to assure the nation that marking for all exams has already begun, and marking for the Form 5 exams will begin. We expect that process to begin as soon as possible. The reason why we're marking alongside the writing of the exams is that we want for the results to be released before schools open on the 5th of April for the first term of the 2022 academic session.
Ndlovu says when schools open on April 5, the marking of examinations will have been completed so pupils will be able to join schools of their choices. She says this will be made possible by the fact that there have been an increase in the number of markers. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Vuminkosi Nzinisa Ezulwini.
The Royal Eswatini Police Service warns Maswati of scammers who monitor public notices in local media and then condemn their money by telling them to deposit a certain amount on digital platforms. The Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Superintendent Pindile Vilagati, urges the public to report such cases early to increase chances of them being quickly solved.
The Royal Eswatini Police Service warns the public that there are still individuals who monitor public notices on media platforms and then con people of their money. The Chief Police Information and Communications Officer, Superintendent Pindile Vilagati, says these scammers will tell people to deposit a certain amount of money on their cell phone numbers using digital platforms, and after getting the money, they switch off their phones as they know it will be difficult to track them. She says the police have had a number of such cases and others of people being conned, and advises the public to verify any messages or calls they receive.
Lesingakukhuthata nje siveni ngokuthi vele asikuqaphele kakhulu lokhu kugejengwa abantu ngalendlela lena. Sibonile nakula maviki laphelile labanye bebaba krugat imali ngekuthi bathi abanika imali taka tekungcembeleteka labo labalinyalelwa tinfo tabo ngandlela thide. Siyabambisana ke nakanjalo nalabo lababuketa indzaba letibuka tekuphepha eveni kubuka ukuthi bantu abagebengeki ngalendlela.
Vilagati says the police solve these cases, urging citizens to report such matters early so that they may be resolved in time. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
Dear viewers, and now take a look at our financial updates.
It can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for your sports news tonight, Regional Football Association's Technical Director James Gunene says the allocated budget of around 4 million amalangeni to rehabilitate stadiums in the regions came at the right time, as they have launched programs that seek to improve the standard of the game in the region.
When the Minister for Finance tabled the budget for the year 2022-2023, the Minister of Sport was allocated a sum of 2.2 million malangeni for the renovation and the rehabilitation of different sports grounds in the country. James Mnen, who is the technical director under the Regional Football Association, says they are excited about the news as this marked the development of local football.
Thanks Nkosi, sicela bonga kakhulu kubantu labadala, sijabule kakhulu singoho kakhulu thina baka development. Lamabala ekudlalela vele ngona siwadinga kakhulu Nkosi. Asita kakhulu asakela mass participation kuthi ke nalabo laba identify le talent abasikhanze siphumile sibanene. Nakakhula futhi ayalekithi emakhaya bakhona nebadala ukuthi manje babaphekeletele abantwana babamekise emidlalweni phindze babanakelele kusukela kule age lesithi kunale window period lapha bakhona khona kufunza kahle labantwana. Kumanje vele sithe kahle lamabala and kuyas affecta kakhulu thina baka development. Sisi noma sinawo kanzakale ukuthi ngilawala kasetikolweni sesisinoma sicela kuletinye tikolo besabe bo head teacher ukuthi sesitawubulala emafastelo naloka naloka.
Kunene concluded by applauding Super League club bosses for their endless support to their coaches. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
Denver Sundowns Public Relations Officer Thabiso Manyadzi says the absence of the PLE Under-20 League has had a detrimental effect on the team. He says Sundowns used to promote a lot of players from their junior teams who were ready for the big stage.
Denver Sundowns Football Club is a team well known for using homegrown talent as they promote young players from their development teams to the senior team. After 2 years without junior league, due to the corona pandemic, Denver Sundowns Football Club Public Relations Officer Thabiso Manyadzi says they were affected by that.
Lokubhlungu nje ukuthi beside ama development games lalethwa nge-PLE, which means it's in kule season sibebethu umdlali esimpromotako kanti each and every season we have to make sure ukuthi there's someone that we promote. So nanyaro bakhona abadlali esitabafaka sitababhifa and abadlali lesitabalanza sibafaka ku squading lesitawo make sure ukuthi bangena ku first 11 akusibo abantu abayohlala ebenchini. Siyadiva ngetimbobo temuhlwa ndzaba ukuthi development football is coming back. Siyadiwa ke thina Denver Sundowns nge-development. Noma ungabala namhlala ku first 11 yanamuhla we have about 4 players from our development. So lokhu sesivile nje ukuthi development football is coming back, which means next season our job will be easy. Ngeke sibezolosihamba khashane siyolanza abadlali bakhashane, but sitawusebenzisa le culture yalakhaya because Denver Sundowns is all about tiki-taka type of football.
For now, Sundowns have only 16 points in their 16 game played. Manyadzi concluded by saying that they will use this window period to buy and sell players for the club. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, let us take a recap of today's headlines. The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Thulisile Dladla, has welcomed back home 9 Eswatini students who were studying in Ukraine. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport says rubberized tubes placed across public roads in some areas are tools used in their road investment maintenance and maintenance survey program. The writing of Form 5 examinations started smoothly on Monday. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
Lokutakusita kunye jaha lakithi kuthi ubeke umoya wakho phasi bese sohamba emiyalweni yasibanze nasemthethweni uyasibanze kwaphela nya. Sekunjalo ndoda uphaphama kwakhe usho kona lokho ukuthi sesinesangoma asimelana.